If you are visiting Japan for the first time, there's one thing that scares almost everyone: transportation. You have probably seen maps that looks impossible to understand, heard people talking about JR Pass, Suica, Shinkansen, Limited Express, local trains, and honestly, it feels overwhelming. But here's the good news. Once you understand just a few basics, Japan becomes one of the easiest country in the world to travel around. Japan has one of the world's best public transport systems. Trains arrive almost exactly on time, stations are clean, routes are clearly marked, and almost every tourist attraction is connected by public transport. In this video, I will explain exactly how to travel inside cities, how to travel between the cities, and which option saves money, which option saves time, and which transport I personally recommend depending on your itinerary. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to navigate Japan like a pro. So let's get started. Let's start with traveling within cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Hiroshima. For almost every tourist, you will mainly use 4 options. Option 1 is metro and subway. If you are exploring major cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, Fukuoka or Sapporo, chances are you will be hopping on subway multiple times a day because it connects almost every popular tourist attraction, shopping district and train stations. Like in Tokyo, you can easily travel between Shibuya, Shinjuku, Asakusa, Yuno, Ginza, Akihabara and Tokyo Station using metro network. In Osaka, it's the easiest way to get to places like Dotonbori, Namba, Umeda, Osaka Castle and Shin Osaka Station. One thing to remember is that Japan doesn't have a flat fare system. Instead, the ticket price depends upon how far you travel. Most rides cost between 180 to 350 yen and even longer journeys within the city are quite affordable. If you are thinking of traveling via metro, the easiest way is using IC card like Suica, Pasmo or ICOCA. Just tap your card or phone at the ticket gate when you enter and again when you exit. The correct fare is calculated automatically, so you never have to worry about buying the ticket every time. Another reason tourists love Japan's metro system is how frequent it is. During busy hours, train can arrive every 2 to 5 minutes, so even if you miss one, the next train is usually just around the corner. Now let's talk about JR local trains, because this is where many first time visitors get confused. A lot of people think that JR only operates the famous bullet trains, but that's actually not true. JR, or we can call it Japan Railways, also run an extensive network of local and rapid trains within many cities, and you will probably use them more often than you expect. The biggest advantage of JR train is that they connect major station, business districts and popular tourist areas much faster than the subway in many cases. Take Tokyo for example. The iconic Yamanote line is JR train that runs in a loop around the city, connecting some of Tokyo's busiest neighborhoods including Shinjuku, Shibuya, Harajuku, Yuno, Akihabara and Tokyo Station. If you are visiting these areas, the Yamanote line is often the quickest and easiest option. Another thing you'll notice is that JR trains generally cover longer distances than the subway. So if you are traveling from one side of the city to another, a JR train may get you there with fewer stops in less time. You will also come across different type of JR trains such as local, rapid and special rapid. Here's a simple way to remember the difference. Local trains stop at every station. Rapid trains skip some stations which are smaller ones, making your journey faster. Special rapid trains, these are available on some routes like between Osaka and Kyoto. These trains stop at a fewer stations and are one of the fastest way to travel without paying any extra fare. The fare is usually the same for all of them, so if rapid or special rapid train goes to your destination, it's always worth taking because you'll simply get there faster. A common mistake first time visitor make is assuming they should only use the subway, but in many situations combining the JR network with the subway gives you the quickest route. Thankfully, Google Maps automatically recommends the fastest combination, so you don't need to figure it out yourself. Most JR local train rides within a city cost around 150 to 400 yen depending upon the distance, making them just as affordable as the subway. And just like the metro, you don't need to buy individual tickets every time. Simply tap your Suica, Pasmo or ICOCA card at the gates and the fare will be deducted automatically. Next up are buses, and whether you'll use them a lot really depends upon which city you are visiting. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, you'll probably rely more on the metro and JR system because they're faster and more convenient. But in places like Tokyo, Nara, Kanazawa and Takayama and many other smaller towns, buses become essential part of getting around. Like in Kyoto, while the city does have train and subway lines, many of the most famous attractions like Kinkakuji, Kiyomizu-dera and Arashiyama aren't all directly connected by rail. In many cases, a bus will take you much closer to the entrance than a train. Another advantage of buses is that they let you reach the residential neighborhoods, temples, gardens and scenic areas that train can't. The fare is quite reasonable. In Kyoto, a typical city bus ride costs around 230 yen, while in other cities the fare may vary depending upon the distance, but it is usually between 230 to 400 yen. If you are wondering how to pay, it's simple. Just like trains, you can use your Suica, Pasmo and ICOCA card, and you need to simply tap your card when boarding or when getting off the bus depending upon the city, and the correct fare will be deducted automatically. If you are unsure, just watch what the local passengers are doing or follow the signs that are written near the door. One thing to keep in mind is that buses are affected by road traffic, especially during the weekends, holidays and the cherry blossom or autumn season. A journey that normally takes 15 minutes could easily take twice as long when the city is crowded. Now let's talk about taxis. Cabs in Japan are incredibly clean, well maintained and the drivers are known for being polite and professional. In fact, one thing that surprises many first time visitors is that the rear doors open and close automatically. But all that comfort comes with a price. Japan is one of the most expensive countries when it comes to taxis. The base fare usually starts at around 500 to 800 yen depending upon the city, and the cost increases with both distance and time. Even a short 10 to 15 minutes ride can easily cost 1500 to 2500 yen, while longer trips can become quite expensive. That's why I would not recommend using taxis as your primary way of getting around if you are traveling solo or as a couple. Japan's public transport is so efficient that trains and subways will usually get you to your destination faster and for a fraction of the cost. However, there are situations where a taxi is absolutely worth considering, like if you have just landed after a long flight and have multiple bags. Taking taxi from the nearest station to your hotel can save you from dragging heavy luggage through crowded streets or climbing station stairs. It's also a great option if you're traveling with young children, elderly parents or a group of 3 or 4 people. When you can split the fare between several passengers, the cost becomes much more reasonable. Another time taxis are useful is late at night. While the trains in Japan are very reliable, most services stops around midnight. So if you are out late enjoying Tokyo's nightlife or exploring Osaka's Dotonbori, a taxi may be your only convenient way back to your hotel. You will find taxis almost everywhere. You can get one on the street, pick one up from the designated taxi stands outside major stations, or simply book one through apps like GoTaxi or Uber. So now you know how to move around inside a city, but what if you want to travel from Tokyo to Kyoto or Osaka to Hiroshima? That's where things become interesting. There are 5 main ways to travel between cities in Japan. Now let's talk about Japan's most famous mode of transport, the Shinkansen, aka the bullet train. If you are traveling between major cities, this is hands down the fastest and most comfortable and most reliable way to travel. The Shinkansen is one of the most punctual train system in the world. Delays are often measured in seconds, not in minutes. One of the biggest reasons tourists love the Shinkansen is that it saves an incredible amount of time. Tokyo to Kyoto takes about 2 hours 15 minutes. Tokyo to Osaka takes about 2.5 hours. Osaka to Hiroshima is just another 1 hour and 30 minutes, and Tokyo to Sendai is also around 1.5 hours. The seats are spacious, there's plenty of legroom, large windows to enjoy the scenery, clean restrooms, overhead luggage racks, charging points on many services, and some trains even have vending machines or food trolleys. If you are traveling from Tokyo to Kyoto or Osaka, try to book a window seat on right hand side of the train. On a clear day, you will get one of the most iconic view of Mount Fuji right from your seat. Now you will hear different names like Nozomi, Hikari and Kodama, and they simply refer to how many stations the train stops at. Nozomi is the fastest because it stops at only the major cities. Hikari makes a few more stops but still very fast. Kodama stops at every station, making it the slowest out of these three. If you are buying regular tickets, I recommend taking the Nozomi whenever it is available because it gets you to your destination much quicker. As for the prices, they depend upon the route and whether you choose a reserved or non-reserved seat. As a general idea, Tokyo to Kyoto will cost you about 13,000 to 15,000 yen. Tokyo to Osaka cost you about 14,000 to 16,000 yen, and Osaka to Hiroshima will cost you about 10,000 to 12,000. It's more expensive than a bus, but you are paying for a huge time saving and an incredibly comfortable journey. When booking your ticket, you will usually have two seats option, the reserved seats where your seat is guaranteed and the non-reserved seats where you can sit in any available seat in designated coaches. If you are traveling during weekends, holidays or cherry blossom season, I would definitely recommend reserving a seat in advance because trains can get very busy. If you are carrying large luggage, there is another important tip. On some Shinkansen routes, passengers with oversized suitcase need to reserve a seat with oversized bag space. It doesn't cost extra if booked correctly, but arriving with a large suitcase without the required reservation may result in additional charges or inconvenience. Buying ticket is also very easy. You can purchase them at the ticket machines inside JR stations, at the JR ticket offices, online before your trip, or through travel apps if you prefer planning in advance. Now let's talk about a type of train that often confuses first time visitors, the limited express trains. You might be looking at Google Maps and notice two trains going the same direction. One says local and the other says limited express. Naturally, you would assume they are the same train with different names, but they are actually quite different. A limited express train will get you to your destination much faster by skipping most of the smaller stations along the way. Instead of stopping at every station, it only stops at the major ones, which can save you anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour depending upon the route. These trains are especially useful when you are traveling from a major city to nearby tourist destination. For example, you are heading from Osaka to Nara, Kyoto to Kinosaki Onsen or Tokyo to Nikko. You will often find a limited express service that's much faster, far more comfortable than a regular train. But this is little pricier than the regular train tickets. If you are using an IC card, it only covers the basic fare, so you will still need to buy the limited express tickets separately unless you are using a rail pass that includes it. You can buy tickets at ticket machines, JR ticket offices or online before your trip, and if you are unsure, Google Maps will usually indicate whether a limited express search is required or not. Now, if your priority is to save money, then highway buses will be the better option. Many of these buses operate overnight. You leave Tokyo late in the evening, sleep during the journey and wake up in Osaka the next morning. Not only do you save money on transport, but you also save the cost of one night's accommodation. If you prefer slower traveling and have at least 2 weeks in Japan, you can opt for this. Let's take the popular Tokyo to Osaka route for example. The Shinkansen get you there in about 2.5 hours but typically cost around 14,000 yen. A highway bus on the other hand usually takes between 8 to 9 hours with the fares ranging between 3,500 yen to 8,000 yen depending upon the season, bus operator and the type of seat you choose. Japan has excellent domestic flight network. Most people assume that the Shinkansen is always the fastest way to travel across Japan, but that's not entirely true. Once you start traveling from destinations farther away from Tokyo or Osaka, flying can actually save you both time and in some case even money. Like if you are traveling from Tokyo to Sapporo in Hokkaido, the Shinkansen takes about 8 hours while a direct flight can take about 1 hour 40 minutes. If you are heading to Okinawa, there's no Shinkansen at all, so flying is rarely your only practical option, with flights taking 2.5 hours to 3 hours from Tokyo or Osaka. Even for places like Fukuoka, domestic flights are worth considering. Japan has several low-cost airlines like Peach, Jetstar Japan and Spring Japan along with full-service carriers such as Japan Airlines and ANA. If you book a few weeks or months in advance, you can often find good rates. But remember that the flight time isn't the whole journey. You will need to travel to the airport, arrive early for security, wait for boarding, collect your luggage and then travel from the arrival airport into the city. When you add all of that together, a 1.5 hour flight can easily become a 4 or 5 hour journey. So in short, if the journey by Shinkansen is under 3 hours, I suggest to take the train. If it's much longer than that, it's worth checking the flight prices before you book your trip. You can also rent a car for traveling within cities in Japan. Rental prices typically starts at around 6,000 yen to 10,000 yen per day for a compact car. But don't forget to budget for the fuel, expressway tolls and parkings. If you are traveling with 3 or 4 people, splitting these costs can actually make driving quite economical. If your itinerary is mainly Tokyo, Kyoto or Osaka, I honestly wouldn't recommend renting a car. Public transportation in these cities is so efficient that a car often becomes more of a burden than a convenience. If you are planning to explore rural Japan, a rental car can give you freedom that trains simply don't. Places like Hokkaido, the Japanese Alps, the Noto Peninsula, Shikoku, parts of Kyushu, or the scenic countryside around Mount Fuji have attractions that are spread out and not always well connected by public transport. One important thing to know before your book is that you will need an international driving permit. Japan does not accept every type of international license, so make sure you have the correct permit with you. Without it, rental companies won't let you drive. By now, you might be wondering, with so many transportation options, which one should you actually choose? The answer depends upon 3 things: where you are traveling, how much time you have, and your budget. Now let's answer what is probably the most searched question about traveling in Japan. Should you buy the JR Pass or not? As per the latest price, JR Pass today can actually cost more than purchasing individual tickets. Let's say you are planning a classic first time trip, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, with maybe a day trip to Nara. In this case, you will probably just take one Shinkansen journey from Tokyo to Kyoto or Osaka. Everything else is either local trains or short regional trips. For an itinerary like this, buying individual tickets is usually the cheaper option. The JR Pass only covers JR operated trains. It doesn't cover every train in Japan. For example, many subway lines in Tokyo and Osaka are operated by different companies, and some popular tourist railways are privately owned. So even with the JR Pass, you will still need to use your IC card occasionally. If your trip is packed with multiple Shinkansen rides over a short period of time, the JR Pass can still be an excellent value. So don't buy the JR Pass blindly. Plan your itinerary first, calculate the cost of your long distance journeys and then see if JR Pass actually saves your money. You can compare the price using JR Pass calculator. I will add the link in the description below. Now here's my biggest piece of advice for anyone traveling to Japan. You don't need to memorize train lines. You don't need to learn Japanese station names, and you definitely don't need to carry around a railway map. All you need is a Google map. Seriously, Google Map is so accurate in Japan that even locals rely on it every day. It tells you which train to take, which platform to stand on, which time the train arrives, how many stops are left, and even which exit to use when you reach your destination. So let me tell you exactly how to use it when traveling in Japan. Step 1. Search your destination. Let's say you're standing in Shibuya and you want to visit Sensoji Temple in Asakusa. Simply open the Google map and type your destination. It could be a tourist attraction, a restaurant, your hotel, or even a convenience store. Once you have selected the location, tap for directions. Step 2. Choose public transport. By default, Google Maps might show you driving directions. Tap the train icon to switch to public transportation. Google Maps will display several different routes. Don't panic if you see multiple options, that's completely normal. Step 3. Compare the routes. Each route shows 4 important pieces of information. First is the total travel time. Second is the total fare. Third is the number of transfers. And fourth is exactly when the train departs. Step 4. Follow the train details. Once you have selected a route, Google Maps become your personal travel guide. It tells you the name of the train lines, the direction you are traveling, the platform number, how many stations you will pass, and exactly where to get off. For example, instead of simply saying take the JR Yamanot line, it will tell you something like board the Yamanot line towards Yuno on platform number 2. Ride the 6 stops and get off the Tokyo station. You don't have to count the stations yourself because Google Map tracks your journey in real time. Step 5. Find the correct platform. When you arrive at the station, just follow the overhead signs for your train line and platform number. Japanese stations have excellent English signage and almost every platform is clearly numbered. If you ever feel lost, don't worry, just open Google Maps again. It will remind you exactly which platform you're looking for. Step 6. Board the right train. Before stepping onto the train, take one look at the electronic display on the platform. Make sure the train's destination matches what Google Maps shows. This is important because several trains can use the same platform, but not all of them stop at same stations. For example, a local train stops at every station while a rapid or a limited express train skips many stations. Boarding the wrong one could take you far past your destination. Step 7. Follow along during the journey. Once you're on board, you can simply relax. Google Map continues tracking your location and tell you how many stops remain before you need to get off. You will also hear announcements inside the train, and almost all major trains display the next station in both Japanese and English on digital screens. Even if you don't understand Japanese, it's very easy to know where you are. Step 8. Use the recommended exit. This is one feature that many tourists don't know about. Large stations like Shinjuku, Tokyo Station and Osaka Station can have multiple exits. If you leave through the wrong exit, you could end up walking an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Google Map usually recommends the best exit of your destination. So before leaving the station, take a quick look at the app and follow the exit number or exit name it suggests. Step 9. Tap out with your IC card. When you reach your destination, simply tap your IC card at the exit gate. The correct fare is automatically calculated and deducted. There is no need to worry about buying the right ticket in advance or figuring out the fare yourself. The system does all the work for you. Before we move on, let me share a few tips that can make your journey in Japan much smoother. These are the little things that most first-time visitors only learn after making a few mistakes. Number 1. Choose fewer transfers over few minutes saved. When Google Maps give you multiple route options, don't always choose the fastest one. Sometimes the quickest route saves you just 3 or 4 minutes but require 3 train changes. If you are carrying luggage or traveling with a family, choose the route with fewer transfers. It will be far less stressful. Number 2. Avoid rush hours if possible. Japan's trains are famous for being efficient, but they are also incredibly busy during the weekday rush hours. Try to avoid traveling between 7:30 am and 9:30 am and again in the evening around 5 pm to 7 pm, especially in Tokyo and Osaka. If your schedule is flexible, travel just an hour later can make a huge difference. Number 3, don't rush into train. When the train arrives, you will notice everyone standing in neat lines beside the door instead of directly in front of them. Let passengers get off first, then simply board calmly. It's one of the simplest piece of train etiquette in Japan. Number 4, check whether your train actually stops at your station. Not every train on the same platform follows the same stopping pattern. Local trains stop at every station while rapid, express and limited express services skip many stations. Before boarding, quickly check the destination displayed on the platform or compare it with what Google Maps shows. Number 5, keep your IC card easily accessible. Whether it's a physical IC card or one stored in your phone, keep it somewhere easy to reach. You will be tapping in and out multiple times every day, so you don't want to hold up and queue while searching through your backpack. Use coin lockers instead of carrying luggage. If you have checked out of your hotel but still have several hours before your train or flight, don't drag your suitcase around the city. Most major stations have coin lockers where you can safely store your luggage while you continue sightseeing. Number 7, download Google Maps before you leave your hotel. Even if you have a SIM card or pocket Wi-Fi, open your route while you are still connected to a reliable internet connection. That way, if your signal drops for a moment underground, you will already know which platform and train you are taking. Pay attention to platform number, not just train names. Japanese stations can have multiple train lines with similar names. Instead of only looking for the train line, always confirm the platform number shown in the Google map. Following the platform number is often the quickest way to find your train. Leave a few minutes for large stations. Stations like Shinjuku, Tokyo, Osaka, and Umeda aren't just train stations, they are almost like underground cities. Walking from one platform to another can easily take you 10 to 15 minutes. If you are changing trains at one of these stations, don't leave it until the last minute. Number 10, trust Google Maps. Don't try to memorize train lines or station names before your trip. Japan's transport network looks complicated, but Google Maps does almost all the hard work for you. Follow the route, check the platform number, confirm the train destination, and you will be surprised at how easy it becomes after just a couple of journeys. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about getting around Japan. I hope this guide made planning your trip a little easier and given you the confidence to navigate Japan like a pro. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel because I create detailed travel guides designed specially for first-time travelers. My goal is to help you avoid common mistakes, save money and make most out of your trip. And if you are planning a Japan itinerary, be sure to watch my other videos. I will add the link in description. I cover everything from visa, budgeting to best time, must visit destination, practical tips that will help you plan the perfect trip. Everything you need to plan your Japan trip is in our downloadable Japan travel guide PDF, the link to which is in the description. If you still have any questions about traveling in Japan, drop them in the comments below. I read as many comments as I can and I'd be happy to help. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, happy wandering!